Good
Good
morning.
morning, sunshine. I love that we get to do another live today.
I feel like we were just living. Like, do we just live all the time now?
I think that's our new thing. We just get to be live all the time. And that's okay, because some days it's a good hair day and some days it's a good makeup day and then others day not so much. So,
Right. And we're going to a networking thing tonight, and I was in this question of, am I going to put makeup on or am I not going to put makeup on? And I said, my authentic self doesn't want to wear makeup, so I'm not wearing makeup. And I might be the only one in the room that doesn't have makeup on later today. And I don't care because I'm going to be
I
happy.
will tell you that it works for Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys doesn't wear makeup. Now she also has $1 million skincare routine. So, that's a thing. But yeah, but with our whole authenticity, vibe that we got going on, like to the point that we put a retreat together about it. Yeah, I think you get to do and be whatever it is that you want to be. And some days you feel like a nut and some days you don't.
And like the other cool thing, like what you just said, like you get to do what you feel like that day. Like some days I do like putting makeup on and like getting a little extra, but most days no. But
Yeah, and sometimes I can spin myself into a circle about it, like I can just talk myself into different things, right? Like being in that lack mentality, right? Like, not generating abundance, not manifesting the thing that I want. It's so
do you
crazy.
see that? Someone is listening to us from Greenland, but I think we know who that is.
Oh, hello. Good morning.
That should be Tracy, right?
Should be. I mean, we could have a whole new contingency
Or
on.
there could be somebody else there.
All right, so we'll make it quick. Let's see. Because it is morning and we're all off to work. What did we want to talk about today? What was our big topic?
Well, the thing that, like everybody sees our retreat, like go to the website, check it out, check out our commercial, like everything. The feedback that we're getting is incredible. Everyone's like, I want to go, I want to go, but
I know.
I
This is
want to
gonna
go,
sell
but
out. Like I'm so excited.
I want to go, but, and the but sometimes is I don't have time or I don't have the money.
I know. I don't have money is like the hardest thing to come over, right? Like,
But so I want to tell my story. I'm obsessed with Egypt, and I wanted to go forever. And I met an Egyptologist, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go to Egypt with her. But like every year would come along, and I'd be like, oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. And this went on for like 10 years. And then I was turning 50, and I'm like, I deserve to go to Egypt. And while it doesn't seem like, time because I have my own business and everything, like how am I going to be able to go away for cuz a trip to Egypt too is not, just a few days.
right.
It's
It's a commitment.
more
Yeah.
than it's more than a week. So and it was also quite pricey, and but it was my 50th birthday, and I said, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but I declare that I am going to Egypt. That is going to be my gift to me for my 50th birthday, and I'm just going to make this happen.
And
And
I know you did end up going to Egypt, right? So how did you create that? How did you manifest that?
well, first I declared it that it was going to happen, and I trusted the universe was going to support me in that. And the crazy thing is, like, right after I declared that, this and the story is too long for me to tell this morning. Like, if someone really wants to know the story, come, come have a one-to-one with me and I'll tell you the whole thing. But the craziest thing, like, I ended up with this teaching gig that was not planned and paying me far more than I ever normally get paid for a teaching gig that basically paid for my trip to Egypt. And like, and it was not in the plan in any way, shape, or form to happen before I declared that I was going to go to Egypt. It was just like I declared it, and the universe goes, okay, here you go. And, I think a lot of this is, and I think the big part of it wasn't only declaring that I was going to Egypt, but declaring that I was worthy of having a trip to Egypt and
Mm-hmm.
that I was worthy of giving myself the freedom from my business for 14 days, and that I could trust other people to handle my stuff while I was gone. And I went, and it was the most magical, life-changing event ever. And like, I want everybody in our audience to know that they are worthy of that too, and they can manifest this by declaring it and by declaring their worth and honoring themselves to gift themselves this magical, life-changing gift.
You're what a great story. My God. Like, because you didn't just generate a little bit, like you generated a lot, right? You created a
I
lot.
generated way more than what this trip to San Miguel cost. Yeah, Egypt
Right? I know.
for a week and a half is a lot more money than our little trip to, even with like, in everything costs more these days. Inflation is like crazy. But even with, this was 5 years ago when everything was quite a bit less pricey.
Yep.
And but still, my trip to Egypt was a lot more than what this trip is gonna cost. And the universe said, you ask, you shall receive.
Yeah.
And
And I think it's like how you said, like, yes, declaring it, number one, right? Declaring your worth, number two. Like, let's put this into steps, right? Step one, declare it. Step two, declare your worth. You have to believe it from the inside out, right? You can't just say it. Like, this is why people like poo poo on positive affirmations. It's because you're saying them in an empty way. You have to like change the cells inside your body to support what you're talking about. And that in turn creates step number three, which is to commit, which is to take the action, right? Which is to say, register, sign me up, and then the money will come. Like, you'll figure it out, This reminds me of that story that I told the other day at the luncheon for the Women's Council, which funny, I posted about that this morning too. I'll tell you that in a second. But I had told a story that we were here doing a happy hour, and we were doing heart-centered networking, and you had asked, what do you guys need? Like, tell us about your business and what do you need? And I said, man, what I really need is like more clients right now, like I want to hit a certain number and da 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 da, whatever. And one of our friends was like, well, remember, you can't just put it out in the universe all willy-nilly. You have to declare very specifically. And I was like, boom, you're right. Like, this is why we're in community and support each other, because, you just forget. So I said, okay, I need $10,000 in the next 10 days. That's what I need, And I remember when I was at the chamber event that I told that story, and quite a few people in the audience chuckled, like, 10 grand in 10 days. How are you going to do that? Like, oh, you're so silly, And it's funny because at the time that I declared it here in our little happy hour, there was no doubt in my mind, right? I didn't say it like pie in the sky. I didn't say it like, I wish I had $1 million yesterday. Like, I didn't do that, right? I said, I want $10,000 in the next days. I am going to have $10,000 in the next 10 days. Anyway, the day of the luncheon was the 10th day. And that morning before I left for the luncheon, I just checked my numbers. I hit that little, add it all up in the last 10 days button. And the report said 11,600 and I think $44. Like, not only did I create that 10,000 that I wanted, but I created more than that. Like, damn, I don't even know my own strength, right? But it had to do with me declaring it. It had to do with my self-confidence, knowing that this is exactly what is coming to me. And that it is all within my control, right? Like, it's all within my control. And you'll appreciate this story, but this morning I posted a little clip about a woman. It's a reel, a Facebook reel about a woman, and I can't remember her name. I probably should, but anyway, I called her the grandmother of marketing, right? She's the lady that came up with the I Love New York campaign. She was working in a PR agency. She came up with, do you remember plop, plop, fizz, fizz? Oh, what a
relief it is.
So she came up with that, right? Alka-Seltzer. And the firm that she was with, like, refused to promote her because she was a woman. So she was like, F you, I'm making my own. And so she created her own firm. And then she came up with the I with the heart, right? I Love New York. And she came up with that. And, she's a bajillionaire or whatever. And in the reel, you see her talking, and she says, bottom line, marketing is full of a lot of jargon. Marketing, to be effective, has to come from love. And I was like, Like, that's
Boom.
exactly what I was saying at the luncheon, right? Is like, you have to lead from love, right? So anyway, I love that all of these are synchronicities. They're all happening together in the same way at the same time for a reason, you know? Yeah, I'm just really excited. I know this retreat is going to have just the right perfect people. And we're coming on here live to tell you guys that we're talking to you directly, because we want you to experience this, right? Like, we want you to experience the joy, you know, the peace, the calm, the freedom, right? What's our retreat called? What?
Freedom and a perfect life. Love your
Right?
authentic self. Um, and also, just one thing you were talking about too, like, because we were talking to somebody and they were envisioning like this giant retreat with like 100 people or something. I'm like, I don't want any part of that. Like, this is a small, intimate retreat. The beds available are limited, so if you want in, like, put your deposit down and reserve your space, because there aren't a lot of beds, because we specifically want this to be an intimate event where we can all like really support each other one-on-one. Like, we're going to get to know each other on a super deep level and provide the support that can only be done in an intimate setting like that. So
Absolutely. Like, there are time and places for conventions and workshops and, you know, conferences, right? Like, we ran Excuse Me, That's My Seat for all those years. And I love that. But this is like next level, right? This is for the person who wants to be heard. This is for the person who's been struggling with the same story for their entire lives, right? If you're saying things like, I never get XYZ, or how come I always trip up with blah, 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 or how come this keeps showing up in my life? Well, to fix that, you have to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation, right? We're talking like fire pit teachings, right? Like, we're going to have a fire a couple nights, you know, and we're going to sit around and we're going to talk. And it's like, that's how you really get to feel heard, you know? For
you
the
know what the best
introvert.
part might be?
What?
They'll get hugs from me.
Yeah, I always have to protect the introverts from Julietta's hugs. But I tell you, once you make that switch, you'll never go back again.
My hugs are the best.
They are the best. They really are the best. All right, we got to run, but thank you guys for listening. I'm excited for this retreat. Don't put obstacles in your own way. Declare and you will manifest. We promise.
Yay. All right.
All
Have a
right.
beautiful day. See you later.
Bye.